Hey, thank you for those of you that have checked out the T equals R kettlebells on the T equals R plus streaming service. All digital, all the old DVDs are on there that are all digital, all streaming, etc. And a lot of people are asking questions, and I think that's great. You know, if you're trying to sell something and you're not ready to answer what a customer wants to know about it, I think that's pretty lame. But so I have an online client. He's a golf pro, and he messaged me. He's basically say, hey, is this something that I need? And I'm not the best in the world at selling people, and here's somebody who's already loyal. And I just say, hey, listen, right now we're doing a lot of body weight things in the online training that we're doing. But obviously kettlebells are accessible and they're versatile. If you feel like you need to be dialed in with what you're doing on with the kettlebells in this distant online type of training situation, then I think this can be great. But I said the other thing that would be very, very interesting for him and would actually help me with some feedback. I find that while golf is incredibly behind in physical training and actually treating the sport of golf like a sport and treating it themselves like they're athletes. They're very much ahead in the coaching and the verbal jousting, if you will, of getting someone to do something that they are capable of doing, but whether the right words or the right environment puts them in a position to do it. And I said, I'd love for you to see how I'm coaching, because something that I'd like some folks to know about T equals R kettlebells was that this is a very varied group. You had the ones that I was most excited about. You have a group in there that are really general population folks themselves that primarily work with general population. That's the type of commercial environments that they're in. So they really are quite the same type of folks that they're coaching. They've got the same kind of movement profile. They've got the same kind of training age. And this is just me coaching. This isn't something that's out of a manual or out of a can where all of the coaching cues, which is good. Like there's, you know, if you've been coaching for 15, 20 years and these are the cues that you have a lot of success with, then that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. What I'm choosing to do for this situation is just kind of put a spotlight and open up the fourth wall to how I'm coaching and to see how we try and use cues. And a lot of the stuff that I do really has a man behind the curtain ulterior motive in why I'm choosing to say what I say, to get people to feel very, very positive about what they're doing and also successful. And we had a really, really good group. Now there was a pocket of a local CrossFit coaches in there, and they engage very differently than the general pop folks. You have a group that at Gabriel Fitness where they're certainly doing some great things with general fitness, but really got on the map by some athletic development. And the other thing too, that some other feedback that didn't come from the golf pro, it came from another individual that has seen a lot of my stuff and has followed for a long time. This I really loved what I was doing here because this group asked questions, and I mentioned in one of the previous videos that I made here talking about T equals R kettlebells that I've gotten away from doing a lot of the live stuff for a number of reasons. And one of those reasons is that people don't ask questions. They won't even say, hey, is everybody okay with that? And they'll just stare at you. And then I run this thing. It's like, okay, hey, so-and-so, ask me what time it is. What time is it? And you just stare. Like how uncomfortable that makes you when you ask someone a question and they just stare at you. Because these aren't, you know, you could go the other way. Like, well, if you're asking a question and no one answers, maybe it's not a good question. And I'm not going there. I'm self-critical enough. But that being said, this group was so engaged and was very, very comfortable and asked really good questions and allowed me to quote unquote do my thing. And that's really made this very, very unique compared to some other things that are out there, because it wasn't just questions that happen at break. It's questions that are on camera. It's those questions that drive the content. And I don't think there's a lot of things out there. And I just hope that maybe this puts me a little bit on track, on target to do some more of these things and really try to get a good group of people, small group, big group, whatever it is, and really just drive the content based on questions and what people want. So with that end, if it's with these short videos, 10, 12-minute videos, whatever they may be, if there's questions and content and topics that you'd like me to talk about, go ahead and let's throw that out there. And I hope you're able to check out T = R Kettlebells. I think, again, for 5 hours at that price, and then anyone who has previously purchased the hard copies of any of the previous 3 T = R DVDs, you'll get that content. It's yours for life on the streaming platform T = R+. Thanks, and maybe we'll get some new content here with that's driven by the stuff that you guys want to hear about.